Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasvam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishna Ayate Namaha. We are studying Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, as the spiritual teacher, second part. And in the fourth chapter, we have to read para 42 today. And the context is in para 41. The master understood that he was the first in the world to realize the truth. All faiths are true. As many faiths, so many paths. Because people travel by some particular paths and they reach the goal and they told about those paths. They did not have the occasion to see the other paths. Thakur, on the other hand, finished every path within 3 days. And he was the first to imagine that I should travel on our paths. For him, there was no path which was a stranger or alien or pardeshi or nothing like that. All paths are his. So he traveled on all paths and found reaching the same goal. So Thakur's harmony depends upon sadhana. Here it is written all religions are equal. But equal in what sense? They are all paths. So the harmony is in practice. Doctrines are different. But if you take the operative part of that doctrine, what we should do, and if you do that, then we reach the same goal. That is the nature of Thakur's harmony. In this context, we can think, what is Swamiji's harmony? Swamiji has learned everything from Thakur. But philosophically, he has told two things. One is that no path is independent at all. Every path is overlapping of the other paths. But what we specially see there, that name we give. Secondly, he philosophically, he took every path philosophically to the end and showed that it is the same truth which is coming. Same truth, another thing. Same truth appears as paths through different paths. That is another way Swamiji has pointed out. All paths are created by God Himself. God Himself is the reality behind all paths. And all paths are not exclusive of each other and they reach the same goal. Holy Mother's harmony, you understood what is Holy Mother's harmony? We have quoted that sentence many times, no? You remember? Somebody asked for him, Mother, is the speciality of Thakur this time that he established harmony? Mother said no. He did not plan to establish harmony. And if you ask his speciality, I will say it is Tyaga. Such Tyaga has never been seen or heard of. And then she says, what you say, my child, also is true. All the old Mahapurushas had emphasized a particular aspect of spirituality. And hence, all other aspects became suppressed. That is Holy Mother's supreme analysis. All past Mahapurushas emphasized one particular aspect of spirituality, because of which all other aspects became suppressed. But this time it has not happened so. Because no connector, Tyag. Now what is this Tyag, which is not seen or heard? Tell me. Very important thing. It's not only Kam Kanchan Tyag. Unless the I specification, when I am a person, I am Gora or Kala, my height is this or that, my mind is this or that, I like this and do not like that. That is what defines I. If this is totally given up, that is Thakur's Tyaga. So, take the Thakur's example of a man who colors clothes. He has a tub before him and some liquid in that. Now persons are coming with their white clothes and dye my clothes red. He puts in the same tub and gives him red. Other man wants blue. He puts in the same tub and gives him blue, green, yellow, whatever color they want. A young man is sitting near him and he does not tell. Then this man asks him, what color you want? He said, I want the color of your tub. So he gave him that. And we immediately understand that that is Swami Vivekananda. He wanted the Swarup of God. But what about the man who colors? It is Thakur. So what Thakur is telling, only wanting Swarupa also is a limitation of your mind. So what Thakur wants, connect now because of his Tyaga. I want God in all the ways in which God can be had. That is Thakur. Why should I want God in this particular way? That is also I. I want God. And because of that highest Tyaga, no specification in how I want God. Holy Mother said, this time all the aspects have been emphasized. And he used to live with God only 24 hours. So I want God in as many ways as God can be experienced. And so harmony was established. Because any particular bhava was not emphasized, because all bhavas were emphasized, and so harmony was established. This is Holy Mother's supreme analysis of harmony, Thakur's harmony. And you understood the connection. Tyaga connected with harmony. Okay. Now, Saradananda Swamiji in between discussed one more form of pseudo-harmony, appears like harmony. And I will tell you the example is Akbar. Akbar was the emperor for Hindus and Muslims both. So he took some good points of Hindu religion, some good points of Muslim religion, and created a new religion, Deen-e-Ilahi. But that was a religion created by Akbar. Understood? So that is not real harmony. It is religion from your brain. The English name for this is eclecticism. There is another form of harmony, not real harmony, which was tried by Aurobindo Ghosh. We should be clear in this point. Huh? It is called synthesis. In Aurobindo Ghosh's ashram, 1 hour you do karma yoga, 1 hour bhakti yoga, 1 hour jnana yoga, 1 hour Raj yoga. So these four are different. And we do not allow quarrel in them. That is called synthesis. Now in Thakur's harmony or Holy Mother's harmony, whatever you call it, how much you will practice Jnana Yoga? How much Karma Yoga? What is the answer? As per your constitution, but we will not think at all that these four paths are different. Four different forms of the same reality. So there is another type of harmonia seen in Saradananda Swami, your Holy Mother. What you will call it? Harmonious blending of all four paths. That means we will not understand whether it is practicing Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga. All is there. So I have shown you various paths of harmony. The right ideas of harmony as given by Thakur, as Mother, Swamiji, and the wrong ideas of harmony as given by Akbar, and people take the name of Mahatma Gandhi also in that. In his daily prayer, one line from Quran, one line from Bhagavad Gita, Raghupati Raghav Rajaram Ishwar Allah Tere Naam. So this eclecticism is not harmony. We are still treating them as different and collecting something. In synthesis also we are taking them as different. Harmony, practice-based. Harmony, equal emphasis on all. Harmony, in practice, as per your constitution you follow. But as Swamiji has explained, do not, Thakur is telling again and again, do not despise the other part, do not say it is wrong. You need not follow. Understood? So this is what we have read in last paragraph. And in that it is said that Thakur saw by sadhus coming to Dakshineshwar and by his pilgrimage that it is the first time in history that Thakur has said that harmony in practice. So now we come to 42. The master realized that the Divine Mother had endowed him with extraordinary power in order that religion might be imparted to the world. That means not only unique in Thakur, but along with that, he will impart it to the world. World is in need of that. World is in want of that. And it is there in him. So, he will have That the realization of religion was dependent upon practice, not on words, was the belief of the master from his childhood. That is in the constitution. Again, he was feeling from time to time during his sadhana, and very often after he had realized perfection, that the powers earned by long practice could be actually imparted to others or passed on to them. Power. He was too also. He was too. This truth he can transmit to others. Now that is why Swamiji has called Thakur as Sthapakaya cha Dharmasya. And Saradananda Swamiji has called him as Sarva Dharma Sthapakas. We already indicated this faith here and there in many places. On many occasions in his life till then, the Master also got the proof that the Divine Mother, by her grace, had accumulated that power abundantly in him, making him sometimes completely lose himself. That means I is not there. She had used that power as the instrument with which to bestow her grace on particular persons like Mathur and others. Consequently, the Master had till he went on to pilgrimage. Only the faith that the Universal Mother would bestow her grace on some fortunate persons through his body and mind as instruments. He could not understand how or when she would bestow that grace of hers, nor did the Master's mind, unhesitatingly dependent as it was on her, like that of a child on its mother, make any effort to understand it. But never in a dream even did it cross his mind that religion should be imparted to all India and the world should be flooded with a strong current of spirituality. But now the Master began to feel in his heart of hearts that the Divine Mother, through his body and mind, had already started her divine sport of imparting religion. But what was to be his means? Though he felt thus, what could he do if the Universal Mother did not allow him to know what she would make him do, whether she would take him and along what path? For he actually became the child of the Divine Mother forever. So that was his attitude. Total eyelessness, total. And that is why spontaneously things are happening. No plan. That is what Mother said. No plan. But because there was no I, so God, Providence, Mother, whatever you call, things are happening automatically. Knowing only, Mother is mine, I am Mother's. No desire whatever except Mother's arose in his mind. Mother's desire in his mind. One desire only, however, arose in his mind from time to time, the desire that he should know the Mother in various forms and through various paths. Same Mother, in various forms and through various paths. But the Mother herself had before that time made it very clear to him that it was she who had raised that desire in his mind. That desire also is Mother's desire. That is how Avatar is describing in this way. Therefore, when this new experience now occurred, the child of the Divine Mother cheerfully remained dependent on her and her alone, and she continued to play with him as before. That means at no point of time ego has entered. The master did not, as is the case with us, assume the position of the spiritual teacher under the influence of egotism. We can clearly understand from his desire to spend the rest of his life at Vrindavan in the holy company of Ganga Mata, where is that preaching and teaching people, filling his mind with divine love, that when he realized the aforesaid truths during his visits to holy places, the master did not assume the position of a spiritual teacher, like most of us, under the influence of egotism. We cannot grasp or understand even a fraction of the master's lifelong attitude. Mother does her own work. Who am I to work for the world and teach humanity? That is the best way in which work is done. But it was this very attitude that made him the wonderful instrument of the Divine Mother's work. It was this very attitude that made it possible for him to remain in Bhav incessantly, and it was this very attitude that led to the wonderful manifestation of the mood of the Guru in his mind. Bhavamukh eternally? No, I. Mood of the Guru, that Bhavamukh itself working, which embodied itself, so to say, in his person. So he is the embodiment of that Bhav. So long as the master used to lose himself, when that power welled up in him, he could detect and understand what happened through the instrumentality of his body and mind only after the work had been accomplished. Suddenly, some people wanting come, and in his mind, mother raises that to teach him. And then he understands, oh, it has happened like that. But now his body and mind got accustomed to contain and manifest that power without a break. That means after all his sadhana and pilgrimage and all that, now it has happened like that. Now the Guru Bhav will be changed into Divya Bhav. Before that time, the normal state of the master's mind was that of an humble aspirant or of a child. That means he is a sadhaka or he is a child. No ego in both cases. He then remained much longer in that mood, and the manifestation of the power as the Guru in him were few and far between. So during his sadhana kal, suddenly he used to become Guru. But otherwise, his attitude was, I am a child, I am a sadhak. But now, it was just the opposite. He remained much longer in the mood of the Guru, and the manifestation of the humble attitude of an aspirant or of a child was correspondingly brief. How beautifully, gradually evolution he has explained. The proof thereof, the master in Bhavamukh quarreled with the mother of the universe on this point, that he has not taken by ego. It was absolutely impossible for the mind of the master to assume the position of the spiritual teacher under the influence of egoism. Time and again we got the proof of it in the boyish quarrels of the master in Bhavamukh with the Divine Mother. Attracted by the manifestation of spirituality in the master, big crowds gathered at Dakshineshwar. This is another thing which we do not always keep in mind. These are his disciples, previous sadhus learned from him. Every day, how many people used to come? and get their life fulfilled and go away. No register was maintained. Big crowds gathered at Dakshineshwar like swarms of bees attracted by the perfume of full-blown 100-petal lotuses. Then one day we went and saw the master in Bahamu. Speaking with the Divine Mother, he said, "What art thou doing? Shouldst thou bring crowds of people like that? I find no time to bathe and have my meal." Even the body requirements he could not find. The master was then suffering from the pain in his throat. He said with reference to his body, "It is nothing but a broken drum. If it is played on so much, it will get perforated any day. What will thou do then?" Her drum perforated, she beats, if it will break, no I. The second example of it. These two is given as one example. On another occasion, we were sitting beside him at Dakshineshwar. It was the month of October of the year 1884. The news of the illness of Pratap Hazara's mother had come, and the master had persuaded him to go home to serve his mother. Pratap Hazara was a hypocrite partly. He used to live with master and show that he is also like him. And his mother was suffering. She called him many times, he did not go, and Thakur sent him. We were present on both the occasions. Both the occasions means when the news of the mother's illness came and when Thakur sent him. News came today that Pratap had gone to Vaidyanath instead of going home. The master felt a little annoyed at that news. After we had had a short talk on this and that, the master asked us to sing a song and was in ecstasy a little afterwards. On this occasion also, the master in ecstasy began like a boy to quarrel with the mother of the universe. He said, "Why dost thou bring such worthless, wayward people here?" About Pratap. After a little silence, "I cannot do so much. Let there be at the most 1/4 or so of a seer of water to 1 seer of milk." Water is adulterated in milk. If 1 seer, 1 kg, in that 1/4 at the most should be water. Then we'll boil it and that water will go away. But now it is not so. There are 5 seers of water to 1 seer of milk. My eyes are burning with smoke as I continue pushing the fuel into the fire. All this is allegorical. If thou likest, go and give personally. I cannot do so much pushing of fuel into the fire. Don't bring such people anymore. Overwhelmed with awe and astonishment, we sat still thinking of whom the master referred to. He is not telling directly of Azra. While speaking thus, and how unfortunate that person was, there daily arose such quarrels between the master and the mother and the master. We showed that the master asked the mother every day to take back from him the position of the teacher, which he regarded as totally worthless, though others yearned for it on account of the attached attendant honor. Compare, introspect. The master's realization. Being an executive officer of the Divine Mother's empire, I shall have to go to impose peace wherever troubles arise. Hagiographical position. Thus did the Universal Mother, the Divine Will, same, Universal Mother, same as Divine Will. In her unscrutable play, we cannot understand that. Make the master have extraordinary, unprecedented experiences throughout his life. She created in him such an abundance of highly liberal spiritual ideas as she had never done before in any other great teacher. Along with this fact, she showed him how much spiritual power she had accumulated in him as a blessing to humanity, and how wonderful an instrument she had made of him for imparting that power to others. So it is not all for his personal thing. The master was, in this respect, let me tell you, our senior sadhus tell us, why master practice sadhana? He is the universal mind. So they say, he has aroused the Brahma Kundalini. An important fact I am telling. He has aroused the Brahma Kundalini, meaning that if I or you feel spiritual aspiration, it is not ours. He has given it. He has, in the universal mind, he has created the desire to realize God. And that is what comes to us. So we should not have pride that I am a spiritual aspirant. It is his. The master was amazed to see an utter lack of spirituality in the world outside, and through her grace, an accumulation of extraordinary power within him for the removal of that want. He could not fail to understand that in this age the mother had once more taken the field for killing the indomitable Raktavija, the delusion produced by ignorance. Raktavija, you know? Now, Kali had to fight an Asura. And if the drop of blood falls on earth, another Asura will be born. That is Raktavija. So, in one hand, she has a pot. She collects all the blood there and drinks herself. That is how she has to fight the Raktavija. And what is the Raktavija? The delusion produced by ignorance, that the people of the world would again be blessed to witness the sport of the mother's welled-up compassion, and in joy and gratitude would not find words to sing hallelujah to her. What is this hallelujah? Christians sing this song on the Christmas day. Glory to Lord, hallelujah, like that. The arbiter of innumerable universes and possessor of infinite auspicious qualities. That mother's description. Just as excess of heat generates clouds, waning is followed by waxing and prosperity comes on the trail of adversity. Heat generates clouds. That means heat is removed. Waning is followed by waxing. Prosperity comes on the trail of adversity. So, the long accumulated heartfelt want of the multitudinous people is followed by the incarnation of the Divine Mother's infinite compassion in the person of the Guru, living and moving with men. Want universal? To fulfill that, it comes automatically. The Mother of the Universe made this clear to the Master out of her grace. She showed him again that such sport of hers had been previously played with the Master many a time in many an age, and would be played many a time over again in future. That is more important. not fanaticism. Again it will come. And no number. He was to have no liberation. He'll have to come again. If liberation means not being born again. As ordinary people have, he was an executive officer who would have to rush to bring order wherever in the vast empire of the Divine Mother there was a breach of peace. From these words of the Master, it is clear that he realized all this at this time and not before it, after he completed his pilgrimage. The Master's mind was eager to meet his devotees. Now, people will come to him, two types. One is who has a last life, and one is who will become his instruments to preach to others. Ever since he understood the fact that for the good of humanity, the Divine Mother herself had out of her grace produced in his mind the liberal faith, as many faiths, so many paths, the discerning mind of the Master applied itself to making inquiries about another matter. His mind then became anxious to know who the blessed persons were that would accept this new liberal doctrine direct from the Mother herself, dwelling in the Master, and would mold their own lives accordingly and receiving power from her, be singled out to be her playmates in this novel sport of the modern age. In propagating this doctrine that would bring bliss to men. We said at the time of discussing the loving relation between Mathur and the Master that he had seen his devotees in visions. On account of the inscrutable play of the Universal Mother, their faces he had seen before now assumed bright living forms in the Master's mind. So long, absolutely unattached to all worldly things, that extraordinary sannyasi's mind now spent the days, he told us on many occasions afterwards, in variously pondering over how many they might be, whether now or how much later Mother would bring them here, there, which of them would perform some especial work of the Mother, whether Mother would make them renounce the world like him or keep them as householders, whether even one of the newcomers could have a complete and proper understanding of that play of the Divine Mother, or whether they would have a partial understanding of it only. Thakur's mind is thinking all this. Before they left, inasmuch as a few persons only in the world could so far understand a little of that extraordinary play of her, he said, I then felt an indescribable yearning to see you all. The soul was being wrung like a piece of wet towel, so to say, and I felt restless with pain. I felt like weeping, but I could not do so, lest that should create a scene. I controlled myself somehow, but when the day came to an end and night approached, and Aratrika music began in the Mother's and Vishnu's temple, I could no longer control myself, thinking, one more day has passed away and they have not come. I got up on the roof of that mansion, called you aloud, oh my children, where are you? Come, and cried loudly. I felt I might go mad. Now, can you compare this with something, Thakur's? An important facet is coming here. During sadhana, on the same roof, he shouted, oh mother, one day has gone, I have not seen you. And now, because the mind is universal, so he wants to realize through various bodies. That is the attitude. So same shout, which he was doing for his own realization, he is doing for people to come. And what? They will come and take from him and distribute to people. Same anguish. I felt I might go mad. So much pain inside. Thakur's everything is intense. Then after long waiting, you at last started coming one by one. It was then that I felt consoled. And as I had seen you all before, I could recognize you as you came, one after another. When Purna came, Purna Chandra Ghosha. Now it is a symbolic thing. Purna came, that team has become Purna, complete. Mother said, with his, the coming of those of whom you have had vision is complete. No more will anyone of this class come. Mother showed you all to me and said, all these are your devotees of the inner circle. Wonderful is the vision and wonderful is its fulfillment. The Thakur itself is saying. How little of this can we understand? We have quoted the Master's own words to show that nothing has been invented by anyone here. Thakur himself is saying, and we are not saying we are his inner circle. The Master's conviction, all those who are living their last lives in the world will come here. Those who even once have truly called on God cannot but come here to think. Last life people and one who has sincerely called on God even once will come here. Now this here means what? Sadhana will discuss. So here he has put in inverted commas. While he was thus gathering together the persons fit to realize and accept his own liberal doctrine, the Master had another conviction of which he personally told us now and again. He said, all those who are living their final lives in the world will come here. And all those who are even once truly called on God cannot but come here. It is very difficult to say what different thoughts arose in the minds of the many people who heard this. Some came to the conclusion that it was absolutely unreasonable. Some thought it was only incoherent talk, an aberration of his faith and devotion. Some again found in it the proof of his egoism or a derangement of his brain. Others thought that though they could not understand it, it must be true inasmuch as the Master had said so, and regarded reasoning and argumentation about it as harmful to faith, and would not set their critical spirit to work. They did not critically analyze. Master has said so already. Others again thought they would understand it only if the Master ever made it clear to them. So many states of people. They therefore would neither firmly believe nor disbelieve it and remain unmoved on hearing anyone speaking either for or against it. You know one so-called great man, spiritual teacher, Vinoba Bhave. Have you heard this name? And he said, Thakur said beyond Veda and Vedanta, all foolishness. Like that is. Because he could not understand. But it will not take long to understand the meaning of these words of the Master if you have succeeded in making it clear to the reader that the Divine Mother made him realize her own liberal doctrine and established him in the position of a teacher in a manner easy, natural, and destitute of the slightest touch of egotism. If you understood this, then all these theories are wrong. That is, however, not all. If the reader looks a little below the surface, he will have realized that these very words are the proof that the master attained that high spiritual state in an easy and natural way, not egotism. The conviction of the master arose on account of his absolute dependence on the Divine Mother. That means no egoism is playing part. When the master, the child of the Divine Mother, looked into his body and mind, introspecting, it never for a moment occurred to him, completely devoted as he was to her, that the accumulation of that extraordinary spiritual power and the ability to impart it were the results of his own effort. In them he saw nothing but the sport of the Universal Mother, playing an inscrutable play, and was astonished and astounded. He himself is astounded, astonished. Oh, mainly it is like that. Ah, what a great sport the mother, expert in making the impossible possible. Gatana Patiyasi, that is the name of the Divine Mother. Making impossible possible. Patiyasi, expert, has made preparations for having assumed that combination of body and mind of his, that is personality. That unlettered personality, her present play has surpassed 100, nay 1,000 times her previous sports. Comparing all avatars. Making the dumb eloquent, the lame nimble enough to cross the mountains, which have charmed the people and led them to sing her glory. By this play of the mother, the Vedas, the Bible, the Puranas, the Quran, and all other religious scriptures have been proved to be true. Religion has been established, and the crying need of the world, which no one could satisfy in the past ages, has once for all been satisfied. Bravo, mother. Bravo. O sportive power of Brahman, there arose, as master's thoughts, there arose such thoughts in the master's mind on account of that vision. The master's mind took that vision to be absolutely true on account of its absolute faith in mother's word. Her infinite grace and inscrutable power. He put questions to her as to what the scope of that play was. Her means his own real nature who has seen this. Who would assist in it, and in what kinds of hearts the seed of that power would be sowed. And in answer to these questions, she got the vision of the devotees of the inner circle and the conviction that those who were living their last lives and those who had called on God sincerely once in order to realize Him were the person fit to accept that extraordinary, liberal, novel doctrine of the Master. These people. That conclusion, it is clear, came as the result of his absolute dependence on the Mother of the Universe. The boy, depending entirely on the mother, could not arrive at any other conclusion than that, and because of this, he ever remained absolutely untouched by egoism. So this full faith works in two ways. Understood? No egoism. But if mother is showing that he has to do, he has to do. Sometimes people, no egoism means tamoguna egoism. I cannot do anything, I cannot do anything. But Thakur's absence of egoism means He does not think that I have done this. But if mother is doing this, I means apparently he is doing that. The meaning of these words are the master. So now he is trying to explain, they will come here means what? In the sentences, those who are living their final life shall come here, and those who have even once called sincerely on God, twice, thrice we have missed that word, only called once sincerely. Otherwise, many people call on God. Cannot but come here. If the word here is taken to mean to the master's novel liberal doctrine, it does not mean to him personally. It will not be unreasonable and nobody will have any objection. But as soon as this meaning is accepted, another question is bound to crop up. Will they of themselves accept the Divine Mother's liberal doctrine of as many faiths, so many paths? Or will it be with the help of him through whose instrumentality she promulgated for the first time that doctrine in the world? So whether it will be through Thakur or independently they will come to this. The answer to this question, according to our understanding, should be determined by observing the result of the right realization of this doctrine in the heart of the questioner or anybody else. And until that realization comes, silence is the best answer. We are not saying anything. If you realize this doctrine, then you will understand. But if the reader asks what our conception is, it has to be said that simultaneously with the right realization of that doctrine, you will also attain the vision of Him whom the Divine Mother has for the first time brought to the world as the embodiment of that doctrine. And you will, of your own accord, pour your heartfelt love and reverence to His form, which is free from pride and delusion. So people are coming to this doctrine, and when they come to this doctrine, they come to Thakur. The mother will not ask for it. The master will not ask for it. That believe me. And no one else either will ask you. We should also not preach accept Thakur, accept Thakur. If they accept that doctrine, Thakur comes. You will of your own accord offer it out of love for the mother. It is needless to say anything more on this subject. I will tell you a funny incident. 2-3 days back it had cropped in my mind. Our previous president, the biggest atomic scientist, Abdul Kalam. Now he was in the space center and one of his assistants, Mukherjee, name I am missing, was a staunch devotee. Bachelor throughout his life. He wanted to become a sadhu. But Vireshwaranji convinced you want doing your science work. He used to live in our Trivandrum ashram, Mukul Mukherjee. Now he had to come to Mumbai for many work. When he came to Chennai, he took Abdul Kalam to our bookshop and wanted to present to him complete works of Swamiji. And he was looking for the complete works. By the time Abdul Kalam, I found my book. And what was that book? The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Mukul Mukherjee himself told this incident. He said, I found the book. You give me if you want, I will read those books also, but I found my book. So he says, you don't have to put this, people will get it. Now we shift to the last topic, which has hinted up till now. The concentrated state of the mood of the Guru is what is called the Divya Bhav. This nomenclature he has taken from the Tantras. In Tantras, two different lines we see. Among the sadhakas, Pashu Bhav, Veer Bhav and Divya Bhav. But among the Gurus, Guru Bhav and Divya Bhav. That is what the Tantras have told us. And the condensed form of Guru Bhav is what he described till now. That he was man suddenly like a Guru. And later on, he was always the Guru, sometimes a man. So that is the Divya Bhav. And so, to project Thakur's personality, he started writing this Guru Bhav. And as the conclusion of that, he comes to Divya Bhav. Now, as Guru Bhav, there has to somebody has to receive it. So he came through Rasmani, Mathur, and then your Padmalochan and Narayan Shastri and other sadhus, Jatadhari. Now, if you want to understand Thakur Divya Bhav, you have to see those people who understood Thakur as God. So, for that purpose, he will tell something in general and pick up one person. Who is that person? Gopal Irma. And that he will describe in 3 chapters. And later on, he thought, I have time more. So he took up the last volume where Thakur Divya Bhav and Narendra. That is the division. So we'll take up this point tomorrow. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakasam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Acharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanam.